All right, good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Strolling right into contract rollover here. We're going to go ahead and do a quick swath through Friday and Monday since I wasn't here yesterday to do a broadcast. So we'll go ahead and scroll back to Friday. Friday was a pretty easy day. Remember, we said that everything was really for the bulls. We had a lot of signals for the bulls from the lows. I said that ideally we want to see the bulls hold from the holy orange power level or 50% of the previous day. And if they could do that, we were expecting a push to retest into obviously the high of the day before and then I think the all-time high. So let's look at what happened here. Zooming back to the pre-market, we came down to our first pocket of expected support, bounced one tick in front of the top end of that pocket, and we literally stair-stepped up every roadmap level. Doesn't happen every day, but pretty often we do see these beautiful holds, top end of that pocket. Then we held the previous daily close here, did duck down by a point through it, and then stepped right up just a couple ticks more, right up to the hopeful, and then we got just a little bit further and stair-stepped and bounced right off the previous daily high. And then from there, it was just a rip-your-face-off rally all the way up to the high of the day up there around 51.50. Hey, what do you know? I should have started with that Van Halen song. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We got all the way up to 51.50 yesterday, basically, and some good rides up the FMA. We did get a really big push right through the 200 here, so if you did try the pullback to the 200 in that one instance, you probably got stopped out, but then you got a good opportunity here. Got a great opportunity off this pocket back here. And then another opportunity up here to get 5-6 points off the 200 in this nice, healthy, bullish rally. End of the day there was just a little bit of a sideways chop fest. Not surprising. We do see this kind of stuff happen all the time. So, we get a nice push and then kind of peters out and just oscillates back and forth in a tight range. And then that brought us here into Sunday's Globex session. So Sunday's Globex session, we did get a bit of a pullback. And if you remember my pre-market or my report that I sent out yesterday, remember I didn't have a broadcast, but I did give you guys my news report for the morning. And I told you that there was an expectation of a potential pullback from Friday's high. We did have some good clues and some closed bearish signals up there that were hinting at a pullback. Unfortunately, most of the pullback only happened in the overnight session, just pre-market there. We got a little bit of the pullback, and you can take me at my word or not, but yesterday when I was putting together our pre-market, I did think about saying in the pre-market, listen, there's a possibility, even though we're expecting a pullback, for the market to come up and peak above and fail right above the high of the week before. Now, I didn't put it in there because I talk about it all the time. I talk about coming up and peak above and fail above major highs or peak below and bounce below major lows. And I just say, you know what, I'm not going to busy their minds with another scenario. But that's quite literally what happened. So we were expecting a pullback from the high of Friday. The bulls pushed it up, tested just above the high of Friday, and then we got the peak above and fail. So it didn't happen till the end of the day. But remember, seeing the price hold back up above hopeful here, holding above VWAP, these would be clues that our bearish position maybe wasn't going to play out, right? So there was a great parry, one tick in front of the hopeful here for the first pullback of the day, but then the bulls were defending off the VWAP there. And then we even got a beautiful tag to the tick of the previous daily close, which led the larger breakout there. So the bears we were expecting a potential pullback, but then the bulls held price above the VWAP there and then continued to kind of press it higher. And so maybe a little bit more of a difficult day yesterday, especially if you were just expecting to be a bear. But we did get some nice rotations in there. And then that beautiful hold off the previous daily close for the pop to peak above the previous daily high and then fail right down below it. Now, in my opinion, super tricky day yesterday inside of here. Yes, we tagged a level to the tick. Great, but we didn't tag it anything else really to the tick throughout that whole pocket there for the first 2, 3, 4 hours of price action. So in my opinion, yesterday was a tricky day. However, when the sell-off started to occur at the end of the day here, and this was probably in that last extended trading hour, we did get one of our textbook setups, and that is, and I told you guys, I've said this so many times now, I do, for whatever reason, seem to make most of my money finding short opportunities and fading breakouts and things like that. And this is one of my favorite setups, right? We get a push to a new high, a pretty significant high for the day. And then the whole bottom drops out. We get down, we start to sell off. We get our crossover. Now, we didn't quite get down through VWAP enough for that, maybe the fourth check mark of my setup there, but we did get the push down, peaked through the VWAP, and then came right to the back end of the 200 there. In this case, it was a tag of Friday's high. And then, in my opinion, this was a double top bearish divergence, probably even had a 3-minute bearish divergence off that peak right there. You could have made a little bit of money to the downside right in that last hour of the market. But again, yesterday, in my opinion, was just a little bit tricky. So that brings in, that's the thing. Almost every day I come in and I kind of pat myself on the back for how well price is reacting off our levels. Today or yesterday, there really wasn't anything to boast about. It was just kind of choppy, jumped around. We got a breakout to the upside, maybe faking out bulls. And then they just went ahead and brought it all the way back to basically the average for the day there at the end of the day. So kind of tricky, but in my opinion, another beautiful short opportunity there right around the end of the day. And if you caught that, you could have actually stair-stepped the previous daily high and then the hopeful there to finish the day out. And then even the previous daily close. If you look at that, you've got your tag to the back end of each level, kind of a reverse stair-step down to new lows for the day. So we did end up getting lower lows for the day, which was my expectation, but it took a while for that to occur, right? So not really a great situation yesterday for our setup or for our expectations. And that brings us here into the overnight session where we've just gone ahead and continued with this bearish pullback. Remember, we were expecting this pullback to occur when we were coming into the open yesterday. It was just this kind of fake out here that we had to deal with before the actual pullback occurred. And that was your textbook peak above and fail scenario. So that brings us here into the overnight and into the pre-market here for this morning. Let's go ahead and you can see as we started to fail or continued to fail here, held the back end of the previous daily low, held the back end of VWAP, held the back end of VWAP, and I guess technically the 200, and then held the back end of the holy orange power level here in the last hour or so. So quite literally a stair step down, previous daily close, previous daily low, VWAP, VWAP slash 200, and now here we are off the holy orange power level, coming down to test into our next potential support level around 16.25, which as you can see, not super relevant at the moment. So let's go ahead and jump up to the